Sometimes when we reflect on the past, we can't help but feel a deep sense of pity. Our grandfathers, their fathers before them, these were men who embodied strength, honor, confidence, and responsibility. They didn't just live, they led. They didn't just speak, they acted. And as we look back at their stories, it feels as though their masculinity was woven into everything they did. But today, we look around and see something totally weird. We see young men, boys, really drifting through life. They hang around or lounge without purpose. There's no fire, no drive. They seem to lack the sense of direction that once defined men of the past. The responsibility our ancestors carried, as if it were second nature, now feels like a burden these boys don't even realize they should be shouldering. So what happened? What led to this shift? Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who is seen as the ruthless voice of power, would have a lot to say about what we're seeing today. He'd call it immature masculinity, a masculinity that lacks verts, not just strength, but real tested, earned strength. The kind that's built by facing challenges and carving out your own path. Machiavelli wasn't impressed by rulers who got their position through bloodlines. He called them principe natural, hereditary princes. These men, born into privilege, were expected to rule simply because they had the right name. And what did Machiavelli think? He didn't respect it. Their rule was effortless, passive. They could keep power simply by keeping things as they were, relying on tradition, doing just enough to maintain what others had built before them. But Machiavelli didn't admire these men. To him, things seemed different. Now let me tell you briefly about a boy today who thinks he's got it made. He's inherited comfort, his family's money, his good looks, maybe even the right connections. He thinks the world owes him something just because he exists. That's the immature masculinity Machiavelli was calling out hundreds of years ago. On the other hand, Machiavelli had a different kind of man in mind. The uomo nuovo, the new man. This guy wasn't born into power. He earned it. He built himself up through creativity and determination. That was the kind of masculinity Machiavelli respected. A man who created himself, who didn't wait for the world to hand him something, but took it by vertive. What if I ask you how many of us are just coasting, resting on what we've been given? That's what Machiavelli would call immature masculinity. It's a trap. We settle, we expect things to come easily, and then wonder why we're stuck. Mature masculinity, on the other hand, demands something from you. It's not inherited. It's not about comfort. It's about growth, relentless growth. It's about knowing that you have to adapt, that you have to become more than you were yesterday. I am sure you've come across clips of different men rising to the challenge, working out, building skills, making decisions, staying disciplined. The boys from earlier remain sitting on the bench, still scrolling through their phones, seemingly oblivious to the potential they're wasting. Because the truth is, if you don't build yourself, someone else will control your life. And like Machiavelli warned centuries ago, fortune favors the bold, but only if you're prepared to act when the time comes. Immature masculinity is a dead end. True strength, that's built, earned, and fought for every day. So what kind of man do you want to be?